For almost a year, my coworker took credit for my work. Every meeting, every compliment, every promotion opportunity. I never argued. I never reported him. I just waited for the moment when taking credit would finally destroy him. I've always been the quiet one at work. Not invisible, but not loud either. I do my job, I meet deadlines, and I don't fight for attention. I believed that if you worked hard enough, eventually the right people would notice. I was wrong. I work in a mid-sized company. Nothing fancy. Office cubicles, weekly meetings, shared projects. The kind of place where collaboration is encouraged but recognition is limited. That's where I met Mark. Mark was friendly, confident, always talking. The type of guy who spoke just a little louder than everyone else, even when he didn't have much to say. At first, we worked well together. We were assigned to the same team. I handled most of the research and technical work. Mark handled presentations and communication with management. It seemed fair, until I noticed something strange. During meetings, Mark would present ideas I recognized instantly. My ideas, word for word. At first, I thought it was coincidence. Then I thought maybe I was overthinking. Maybe that's just how teamwork works. But it kept happening. Reports I stayed late to finish. Solutions I emailed only to him. Strategies I explained casually during lunch. Suddenly, they were his. Managers praised him. Coworkers congratulated him. He smiled and accepted it all. And every time, he'd glance at me. Just for a second. Like he knew. I considered confronting him. But I didn't. Because I realized something uncomfortable. If I accused him without proof, I'd look petty, emotional, difficult. So I stayed quiet. Months passed. Mark started getting more confident, more careless. He interrupted me in meetings, finished my sentences, even corrected me on work I had done. One day, our manager announced a major upcoming project. Big visibility, big opportunity. Mark immediately volunteered to lead. The manager agreed. That night, Mark messaged me. "Hey, can you handle most of the prep work? You're really good at that stuff." I stared at the message for a long time. And then I smiled. Because I finally had a plan. I said yes. Over the next few weeks, I worked harder than ever, but differently. I documented everything. Every draft. Every edit. Every data source. I saved timestamps. Version histories. Email trails. I also did something else. I let Mark rush me. Whenever he asked, "Is this ready?" I'd say, "Almost." Whenever he wanted quick explanations, I gave him just enough to feel confident, but not enough to fully understand. The final presentation was scheduled for a company-wide meeting. Big room. Senior management. Executives. The night before, Mark messaged me again. "Can you send me the final version? I'll present it." But not the way he expected. I sent him a version that looked complete, but required deep understanding to explain. No notes. No talking points.
No backup explanations.
The next morning, I sat in the meeting room, calm. Mark walked in confident, smiling, shaking hands. The presentation started. At first, everything was fine. Then came the questions. Simple at first. Mark hesitated. Then, deeper questions. He stumbled. Someone asked about data assumptions.
He guessed. Wrong.
Another asked about methodology. He contradicted himself. The room got quiet. The manager looked confused, then disappointed. Finally, one executive turned to me. "You worked closely on this, right? Can you clarify?" I stood up and calmly explained everything. Clearly, confidently, in detail. I referenced documents, showed sources, explained decisions. The room shifted. People nodded. The truth became obvious, without anyone saying it. After the meeting, my manager asked me to stay behind. So did Mark. The manager looked at him and said, "Why didn't you understand your own presentation?" Mark couldn't answer. I didn't have to say a word. 2 weeks later, Mark was removed from the project. 3 months later, I was promoted. Mark still works there, but he doesn't talk much anymore. And he never takes credit for my work again. The best part? I never accused him, never embarrassed him directly, never lowered myself. I just let him stand alone with work he didn't actually own. Some people steal credit because they think silence means weakness. But silence can also mean preparation. If this story felt satisfying, hit like. Comment below. Have you ever let someone expose themselves instead of confronting them? And subscribe for more real-life stories where patience beats revenge.